also आप लोगों के सेशंस में दैट्स अ वेरी मैंडेट थिंग इज आप लोगों को टेल मी अबाउट योरसेल्फ। और जो कॉमन क्वेश्चंस होते हैं ना यूजुअली इंटरव्यू में पूछते हैं, आपको रट्टा होना चाहिए बिल्कुल। मतलब वो आपसे कोई डाउट ही ना कर पाए, राइट? यू शुड बी वेरी
Yes,
क्लियर एंड सेट ऑफ। सो दिस इज द वेरी फर्स्ट रूल इज दैट कि आप कुछ भी क्वेश्चन प्रिपेयर कर रहे हो तो वी गोना डिस्कस अबाउट 4 to 5 क्वेश्चंस जो आपको प्रिपेयर करने हैं। ओके, I'll share my screen and let's start this session. Okay? Wait.
of
Yes. Yeah. So my screen is visible to everyone, right?
yes, ma'am. We can see your screen.
Okay. Okay. So let's take one by one. What's your biggest fear about interviews? Let's start this session one by one. Okay, I start with Shrikant. So like what's your biggest fear about interviews?
To be honest, ma'am, nothing. Like I have given n number of interviews.
Okay.
So I used to have earlier, like I used to stumble and I used to forget some things.
Okay.
Now I can do easily, but until unless if I don't have command on any topic or any knowledge, that time I
Mm-hmm.
get little bit fear.
Yes.
But not now. Like talking to any stranger, it's a cup of my tea.
Mm-hmm.
I can do it easily now.
चलो अब तो ठीक है, इंटरव्यू दे दे के श्रीकांत को प्रैक्टिस हो गई है। नाउ ही विल आल्सो
Yes.
टीच अस कि हाउ टू टेक इंटरव्यूज
Yeah.
लाइक सो कॉन्फिडेंटली, राइट?
Sure, sure, ma'am.
ओके ओके
Okay.
ओके। व्हाट अबाउट श्याम? व्हाट्स योर बिगेस्ट फियर और यू फील सो कि हाँ मेरे को थोड़ी डिफिकल्टी होती है व्हाइल गिविंग द इंटरव्यू?
Yes, ma'am. I have difficulties in giving to the interviews. Means like uh, I didn't speak properly in English.
ओके।
To I have not conversation to the English to properly to the interviewer. How to speak? I don't know. I didn't remember anything. I have no how to speak and how to what I am telling them, but I didn't react it on how to interact with that interviewer to
ओके
conversation to between them.
ओके, टोटली
It
अंडरस्टूड
is my
श्याम।
fear about it. Yes.
Yes, totally agree with you. I'm so grateful that you shared your these things. You know, in this session's whole session, maybe this is your first session, but the very from first session, I told this thing. कि in this whole journey, we're gonna discuss about how exactly we should communicate. ये usually तब होता है हम daily life में उस चीज को practice नहीं करते हैं, right? We usually don't communicate with that. So during these sessions, I really want कि आप लोग चाहे जैसा भी बोलो, at least put your point forwards, which is the most important. So during this session, I'll try one by one. You will try to disclose these things. Okay? Thank you so much, Shah. What about Hemant?
Ma'am,
Yes?
when I gave an interview, I lose my confidence, ma'am.
Okay.
I forgot some points in front of the interviewer.
Totally agree with you, Hemant. It generally happens, you know. हम लाइक नॉर्मली भी अगर हम इंटरव्यू के लिए प्रिपेयर करके जाते हैं समवन डायरेक्टली क्वेश्चन यू जो आपके आउट ऑफ द सिलेबस होता है, या यू गेट शॉक कि ये क्या पूछ लिया, एंड यू गेट hyper. So usually it happens you forget what should you answer on that. So this is how
Yes.
practice makes everything perfect. Until and unless you will practice those points properly, until and unless आपको उस चीज के बारे में पता नहीं है, आप कंफ्यूज हो, राइट? सो इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। हम लोग आज के जो सेशंस करेंगे, हम जितने भी प्रीवियस सेक्शंस हमने लिए हैं, आई रियली वांट कि आपको सब कुछ रिक्रूटमेंट वगैरह के बारे में सब कुछ पता हो, तो यू विल नॉट गेट कंफ्यूज। यूजुअली हम लोग पेपर में कैसे घबराते थे, व्हाई इट इज हैपन, बिकॉज वी डोंट हैव एनी नॉलेज अबाउट दोस टॉपिक्स कि हमसे क्या क्वेश्चन पूछ लिया जाएगा। तो ड्यूरिंग दिस सेशंस ओनली हिमेंट वी गोना डू दिस प्रैक्टिस, ठीक है?
Okay.
और ये एक सेशन से नहीं होगा, यू हैव टू प्रैक्टिस एट योर होम ऑल्सो, and I will give
Okay,
you
ma'am.
some assignments also, PPTs भी जो आपको help करेगा. And in the
Okay.
practical sessions we gonna practice this only कि how you will introduce yourself, what sections of part you have to follow. Okay, Hemant? Thank you so much
Okay,
for
ma'am.
sharing. Okay? Okay,
Okay,
what
ma'am.
about Geeta? Geeta, are you there?
Yes, ma'am, I'm there.
Yes. So share your experience. Like, what is the biggest fear or you hesitate about in the interviews?
My biggest fear, they're asking questions. I just give answers also.
Mm-hmm.
But while giving answers, somewhat I will be stopped somewhere. I can't flow my control completely. I can't. The flow is missing. Somewhere the flow is missing.
Totally agree with you, Geeta. It's very normal, you know. Usually होता है ऐसा, हम लोग फ्लो टूट जाता है या कुछ ज्यादा बोल जाते हैं, then again कोई क्वेश्चन पुट अप हो जाता है, then we start blank. It's usually
And
happens.
actually, I am Telugu. I didn't
Okay.
understand Hindi.
Okay, I'm
Someone
really sorry. Yeah. Yeah, so what I was saying is basically sometimes we always feel hesitated, right? If somebody asked us question in between of that, and we felt so stuck out of it, how can I able to answer those questions properly? Or sometimes we will fumble so much कि वो सामने वाला is like it's get confused, right? So it's very important, Geeta, to prepare questions. As much you practice, as much you repeat those things same and same again, it will give you a confidence that nobody gonna prove you wrong in that. Usually it happens only when the situational tip. In this previous sections also, or in the coming sessions, we're gonna discuss about the tricks, how you should handle your situational questions. Okay, Geeta? So it will
okay,
gonna
ma'am.
help you out ki how should you encounter those questions which makes you feel fear about it. Okay? Thank you so much.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
What about Mahana?
For me, like I'm okay with the interview, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we are curious about some company, right? We
Yeah.
need that company or we want that company. So that time it feel a bit nervous. Like okay, we would go do it in a better manner, like that we can feel sometimes. Otherwise, I'm just okay with that interview. Whatever the question, I try to face. But if I'm seriously curious about the company, oh, I need it. So it creates some kind of nervous. That's it, ma'am.
Right. Totally agree with you. Sometimes it almost happens, you know, when we are confused about these things now, it gonna fear is ki we have taken the decision right now and it comes to be wrong, so what will happen next? Right? It usually happens. No
Yes, ma'am.
problem.
Yes, ma'am.
Mohana, that's a very common thing. It's not bit figure it about, but it's very good that you don't have any fears about interviews. Because
Yes,
practice
ma'am.
makes everything's perfect. I wanna say make it better. It will boost you up and able to recognize that we like the companies will work with you on it. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What about Bhavna? Okay, maybe Bhavna is traveling, so not able to answer. What ab- Bhavna, are you there? Your voice is not audible. Maybe no, not an issue. What about Nisha? Okay, let's move forward. So as everybody shared that कि इनको क्या क्या fears है, right? Whatever the fears they have, the very first solution is equation called as confidence. Equation is P plus P is equals to C. What does it mean is I already said you preparation plus practice. When you are prepared with your topic, when you are prepared with the questions which you already know, you definitely clear it that and you will definitely feel confident while it. You know, even in school's times, right? Do you remember? If we know the topic, we are very confident to raise our hand and say, yes, ma'am, I know this answer. Right? Yes or no? Do we do right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am.
Yes. And we if we
Yes,
don't
ma'am.
know the answer, we should be like कि ठीक है मैम हमें ना देख ले मैम को
Yes,
हमें
ma'am.
पता नहीं चल जाए कि oh my god मेरे से ना पूछ ले, right? We used to,
Yes.
because this is all
Yes.
the happen. It's a human nature, right? When you are not prepared of anything, you always feel hesitated. You always feel less confident about it. Okay, so it's very important if you are going for the interview, don't go blank. Don't go
Yes.
blank. You should be like, yes, I am very confident. they will not ask questions out of the box. ठीक है, दिस इज द मेन थिंग यू हैव टू माइंडसेट योरसेल्फ कि वो क्वेश्चंस वो ही आपसे पूछेंगे जो आपको आता होगा. They will only ask you those questions which is meant for the position. They will not ask you IT questions or something like that which is out of the box of it. So just prepare about, be confident about कि आप practice करो. Okay, so very first thing, preparation and practice. So what preparation includes? Knowing the company and the role. You should be clear about what the company requirement is and what's the role you are going for. I see many of the interviews in my office. Usually they don't know about the company what does. ठीक है, वो लोग आ जाते हैं इंटरव्यू देने के बाद, they know the role of it, but they don't know what exactly company work for. And here's come a kick point. HR expect you कि अगर आप कोई जा रहे हो इंटरव्यू के लिए, you should know exactly what company do. You should know about the company. Usually you guys do, yes or no? आपके साथ कभी ऐसा हुआ है, you don't know the company but आप इंटरव्यू देने चले गए हो?
Yes, so many times I have done that.
So many times, right? If somehow
But
reason.
those interviews are only for experiment. Like I actually was not interested to go on those companies.
Mm-hmm.
I was just applying and preparing for interviews for some other companies.
Okay. But usually, you know, it
Those interviews are
happens.
kind of a for practice. Yes, MS,
Mm-hmm.
it has. Yeah.
It might, right? You know, we as a human being, we also do कि हम लोग जेडी पढ़ लिया, ठीक है, सैलरी का पता चल गया, एचआर से बस इंटरव्यू
Yes.
असाइंड हो गया और चले गए. ठीक है, बस बस अगर एचआर ने
Yes.
क्वेश्चन पूछ लिया, डू यू नो अबाउट लाइक व्हाट कंपनीज डू, फिर हम ब्लैंक होकर उनके मुंह के सामने बैठे हुए हैं वहां पे. ठीक है, फिर हम बोलेंगे अरे ओ माय गॉड, मेरा
Yes.
इंटरव्यू अच्छा नहीं गया, व्हाई आई एम नॉट सिलेक्टेड. So the very
Yeah.
first thing, next onwards, you should always know. पूरा मत पढ़ो, हिस्ट्री विस्ट्री जानने की जरूरत नहीं है आप लोगों को. It's just exactly you know the key role of exactly कंपनी करती क्या है. तो इट विल डेफिनेटली गिव यू अ इम्प्रेशन, एक एचआर के मन में इम्प्रेशन जाएगा व्हेन यू विल गिव द आंसर कि या आई हैव रीड अबाउट द कंपनी थ्रू लिंक्डइन, ठीक है, थ्रू विकिपीडिया दैट कंपनी डू दैट. तो इट विल मेक योर इम्प्रेशन बेटर. ओके, एंटिसिपेटिंग.
Yes.
Yeah. The second part is anticipating questions. Never ever do blank. You know, I see many of the interviews, people get blank. मतलब एचआर की आंखों में ही देख रहे कि वो आंसर बता देगा जैसे. ठीक है, डोंट डू लाइक दैट. ट्राई टू आंसर कि आपको थोड़ा बहुत ही पता हो ना. यू विल डोंट से डायरेक्टली नो, नहीं मेरे को नहीं पता, नो आई डोंट नो. डोंट सेट ब्लैंक. ट्राई टू एंटिसिपेट. इफ यू डोंट नो द, फॉर एग्जांपल वी कैन just wait a second please. Yes. So, for example, if I don't know the question, ठीक है, मेरे को नहीं पता है, so I can say कि right now I don't have any idea about it, but definitely I am so curious to know about this thing and definitely learn about that. तो चाहे आपको आंसर नहीं बता, but at least you are able to communicate. क्योंकि वहां वो आपका ये नहीं चेक करे कि okay whether you know it or not. It's whether you are able to communicate or not. ठीक है, तो don't sit, try to be blank in the interviews. Try to anticipate your answers. मास्टरिंग योर स्टोरीज बेसिकली मीन्स कि आपको ये सब चीजें ना प्रिपरेशन पहले से करनी पड़ती है. एज गीता सेड राइट कि समटाइम्स आई गेट ब्लैंक while they ask the questions, so you have to practice to master the story. So that you should start making the stories up. Okay, so for example somebody will say कि okay what are your biggest weakness, right? These kind of questions usually ask, right? And we got blank. Then we say, okay, I am not a good communicator. ठीक है, Shyam said that I'm not a good communicator. Never ever said that, Shyam. Okay, you know, say like that. उसको positively we can say कि sometimes I hesitate while speaking with people, but I try to complete my work on time. I manage those things on mails or give on written things. तो वहां पर you can take that negative word can completely be positive. If somebody is asking you for your weakness part, never ever disclose your weaknesses. Never ever. Try to making trust and twin stories. हम लोग पहले बचपन में अगर पेरेंट्स जाके हमें कुछ बोलते थे ना, तुमने ऐसा किया, when we start making stories, right? नहीं नहीं ऐसा नहीं था, I was the right one, right? So try to make stories. It's very important. Whenever you have get stuck now, try to make stories, और ये practice करने से ही आएगा. If somebody's encounter with you with the question, try to convert the stories and try to make them up कि they should understand what exactly you are facing up. Okay? It's a practice. You can rehearse your responses. Whenever you give interviews, always keep a point ki where did you lack. Many people, they give the interview, they regret about it, they repeat that same mistake again and again in the next interviews. So always everyone, when you are giving the interview and somehow reason, देखो सबको अपनी सच्चाई पता होती है, right? Everybody knows कि वहाँ कहाँ वो failure हुए या कहाँ वो अटके, why they are not selected. So try to keep on those points. This is the reason I'm not selected. I have to work upon when I'm giving to the next interview. Okay, everyone? You will definitely practice or rehearsal after you give the interview and where did you lack. Mock interviews are very important. Try to listen mock interviews. Try to do mock interviews. In the last previous session also we have done mock interviews, and upcoming sessions also I'll try कि हम लोग जितने mock interviews cover कर पाए. It will help you to boost your confidence. Okay? Feedback loops basically means about कि taking feedback is very important. Then you are not selected or selected. If you are not selected, you should ask your HR, what is the feedback for me and what can be improvement should I do. So it is very important to take a feedback. और through this ना आप एक HR के notice में भी आते हो that person is curious about that. तो वो एक टैलेंट पाइपलाइन है. HR के वर्ड्स में टैलेंट पाइपलाइन बोलते हैं हम इस चीज को. वी गोना लर्न दिस आगे वाले सेशंस में. ठीक है, तो उसके लिए आप प्रिपेयर हो जाते हो. HR के मन में रहता है कि यस देयर इज वन पर्सन हु इनिशिएटिव एंड इज गुड एट रिस्पॉन्सिव, तो उसका नाम उनको याद रहता है. ठीक है, तो फ्रॉम द वेरी नेक्स्ट फॉरवर्ड यू शुड प्रिपरेशन डू एंड डू द प्रैक्टिस. ओके, सबको इक्वेशन समझ आ गई है टू गेन द कॉन्फिडेंस? Please mute yourself.
Yes.
Okay. So सबको ये याद रहेगा, right? Everybody will know this equation, confidence equation next time से. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Rita, can you please mute yourself? Okay. So while going for the interview, very first thing is decode the job description, which you known by that it reveals like what you really want. JD is an answer for every interview. When you get the JD, you should start preparing according to the JD because they're gonna ask you an interpreted question according to that. Okay, everyone? So the very first thing you will do is find the JD. Okay, highlights what responsibilities, skills, and values they are finding. So practice those that. After the third thing is tailor your responses to match the language and priorities. For example, if they wanted a person should be a good communicator, a person should be able to use ChatGPT or Canva, so you should be very aware of कि आप उस तरीके से अपने answers prepare करो. Okay? So always carefully plan your JD, okay? Decode the JD so that it can help you to give the answers. How many of you do read JD carefully? How many of you do? Yes or no?
I do.
Okay,
I do, ma'am.
Shrikant too. What about others? बिना JD पढ़े जाते हो? KHR ने जो बता दिया इस टाइम पे आना है, चले गए, JD नहीं पढ़ना है ना? Shyam is smiling, maybe he do that, है ना? Usually होता है. Right. What about others? Mohana, Bhavna, Nisha, Hemant, Geeta. Do you guys read the JD or you directly go for the interview?
No, ma'am, I will aware of the JD. Job description must be, we have to aware. Then only we will handle the interview.
Right. Totally agree with you. But there are people, they don't do JD part of it. They feel, okay, the key responsibilities to hai, but it's very important to decode the JD. Okay. Next honors forward. I already know you are very smart. Everyone do. But please always look to JD carefully because it's gonna create questions for that. ठीक है, आप लोग चैट जीपीटी पे भी ऑल्सो जाके अपलोड कर सकते हो दैट जेडी यू हैव गेटन थ्रू एंड आस्क चैट जीपीटी टू मेक 10 to 20 क्वेश्चंस ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ द जेडी. सो आप वो प्रैक्टिस कर सकते हो. तो while encountering those questions, you already know that what kind of questions it might ask. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
So, after that is the master your resume. I have given this example so many times. Maybe Shrikant remember. I told everyone कि अपने रिज्यूमे में जो लिखा है वो आपको पता होना चाहिए. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, HR asked you what are your hobbies and somebody says I love reading books. Okay, HR asks, okay, what kind of books do you read? Then people get blank. Okay, अच्छा आप तो फंस गए, झूठ तो बोल दिया था. Okay, so very very important, master your resume. Never say lie. अगर चलो ठीक है झूठ भी बोले हो ना तो एटलीस्ट 2 दिन बुक्स के नाम रख के जाओ कि सामने वाले को लगे कि हाँ ठीक है रीड करते हैं. So whatever you do right, at least you should know about that. The very most important thing to give the interview is master your resume. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So, while mastering is just about you should be clear about your goals, your strength, your weaknesses, and your skills. I'm gonna share this PPT also for the future references, okay? So, the very first thing, self-awareness is your first superpower. What does it mean by that? Ki if you don't know, you are not clear about your goals, you are not clear about your strength, weaknesses, and skills, definitely you don't want to express, right? जब हम लोगों को ये सब चीजें क्लियर ही नहीं है, we are not clear about those things, we are not able to crack a good interview or a good company if we are looking for. So very first thing is self awareness. We should know our goals, strengths, weaknesses, and skills. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So see this, see the screen here. You can see these are the 4 basically questions asked, right? Can anyone can read for me? Shrikant, can you please read for me?
Okay, ma'am. So the most common interview questions, the first one, tell me about yourself. The second one is, what are your strengths and weaknesses? Third one is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Fourth one is, why should we hire you?
Yes, thank you so much, Shrikant. So, as you can see everyone, this is the most common questions are. इसके अलावा भी काफी questions हैं, but usually जब आपका start होता है interview, these 4 questions are mandate, right? Usually सबने interviews यहाँ पे दिए हुए हैं, so these kind of questions people generally ask, right? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, usually these 4 questions always asked. So the very first question is tell me about yourself. जो first important question आपसे पूछा जाता है. And usually people don't practice and they hesitate about this. So that's why I tell you those कि we should always prepare and practice those questions which is generally asked. So let's see how you can master the tell me about yourself. So it is a formula. Basically, you should follow the 4-part structure speech. तो इन द नेक्स्ट सेशन आप लोग थ्रू स्ट्रक्चर्ड टेक्निक आप अपना अच्छे से टेल मी अबाउट योरसेल्फ प्रिपेयर करके आओगे सो दैट वी कैन डू प्रैक्टिस द टेल मी अबाउट योरसेल्फ सो दैट यू फील वेरी कॉन्फिडेंट एंड नोबडी गोना गिव यू डाउट कि यू लाइक और कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं कर पाएगा. ओके, सो वेरी फर्स्ट थिंग यू शुड ऑलवेज स्टार्ट विद द प्रेजेंट. ओके, हु यू आर नाउ. Okay, then you will discuss about the past, whatever the skills you are, and what are the future you are planning. Let's see the example for better understanding. You can see it's a sample example of a IT engineering. Here, what he said is, "Hi, I am Raj, a final year computer science student. I have worked on backend projects using Node.js, MongoDB, including food delivery app for college quest." Okay, then he said, I enjoy turning real life needs into software solutions. And future ke liye he said, I'm looking for a company where I can contribute while expanding my skills in scalable system design. So here you can see the example how tell my yourself meant to be. See, as a HR, if you are going for experienced position, usually they know what exactly you are, right? They know your school because your resume has mentioned everything. They want to know about something else you can put it upon. They want to see your communication skill. Generally people say कि it is in the first way when you judge people, right? आपके सामने कोई खड़ा होता है, you start judging them कि how they gonna communicate. So this is the very first question you it always asks. Okay, so how you should always answer: first, tell me about the present. Okay, then discuss about the past thing, your education part of it. What are the projects you have worked upon? Then your strength. Strength can be कि आपने वहां से क्या सीखा है. After the future plans, कि if you want to do the MBA, so you can tell कि in the future I'm looking for the company who can provide me the MBA thing. I'm really interested in doing my higher educations. Okay, so this is the basic structure you have to follow while preparing the question. Tell me about yourself. All clear? Shrikant,
Yes, ma'am.
Hemant, Balram,
Yeah,
Geeta,
got.
Yes, ma'am.
Nisha, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is the basically a very basic thing. Everybody knows that, but हम लोगों को ना पता नहीं होता exactly हम लोगों को कैसे बोलना है. हम कुछ भी बोल जाते हैं, राइट? कभी प्रेजेंट के बारे में बता रहे, कभी फ्यूचर के बारे में बता रहे, पूरा मिक्स कर देते हैं. तो इसका भी एक फॉर्मेट होता है व्हेन गिविंग द इंटरव्यू. यू शुड नो. और ये आपको पता है एक बार ही बनाने की जरूरत है. बस ओनली वन टाइम है ये. आपने ओनली वन टाइम यू हैव डन दैट, यू आर सॉर्टेड विद द इंटरव्यू पार्ट ऑफ दैट. If somebody will ask you, tell me about yourself, you are able to provide clearly answer. Okay, after this after this Saturday, Sunday will be this the homework for everyone to prepare these questions very well so that we can practice it on Monday also. Okay,
Sure, ma'am.
so let's see. That Geeta asked me ki, definitely I am not able to answer the questions when directly is asked, right? So let's see how should you handle interview questions strategically. Okay, this is a technique called STAR technique. Anybody know about it? Anyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, could you
I
please
know.
brief us, Shrikant? What do you know about STAR
So,
technique?
so star technique is nothing but simply answering any question like just in the words. You can take any situation and based on that, like what we did for that, and what action we took, and what are the results we got from that. This is the star technique we can use.
Totally agree with you, Shrikant. What about others? Anybody knows about what is the STAR situation is? बताओ. Anyone? Okay, not an issue. मैं हूं ना सिखाने के लिए. I'll tell you what is the technique. Okay, so STAR is basically the word used at situation. S, T, task, A, action, and R is for result. So generally what I have seen is somebody ask you a question like कि just a second please. Okay, so if somebody asks you a question, tell me about a time when you worked under pressure. So we always get stuck, right? हम लोग वहां पे stuck हो जाएंगे कि okay, what we gonna answer. So how you generally answer those question is basically STAR technique आप वहाँ use करोगे, where set the scene, whatever is the background or context. Okay, here you can see. This is the example of a student. Okay, here you can see during my final year, our team faced a setback when two members fell ill. Okay, just days because the deadline. This is the situation बता रही है, ठीक है? I quickly recognize the task, coordinate remotely with the sick teammates, and took a extra word myself. ये action बता दिया उसने. After what a result is, we submitted the project on time and scored 9.2 after the 10, earning appreciation for teamwork under pressure. So this is how you do the practice part of it. STAR technique can be used in any questions. ठीक है, कोई भी आपसे क्वेश्चन पूछेगा कि how you handle the team, okay, how you handle the team pressure, how you manage. Usually generally यही क्वेश्चन आप लोगों से पूछे जाते हैं, right? How will you manage the all pressure if you are multitasking? How will you manage it? तो आप एक STAR technique के थ्रू you gonna make a story. that in my situation or in my past company, I do some work and got a result of it. So basically, you try to use STAR technique. Okay. So we're gonna learn this through practical session onwards. जो हम लोग Monday को session लेंगे, where we practice की how you should handle these questions strategically. So try to make practice everyone की exactly how you will use that questions. Okay. Star technique आप लोग practice करोगे. Then a very important thing in an interview, dress to impress. How many of you is agree formal is important? Yes or
I
no?
totally agree. I
Yes,
totally agree
ma'am.
with you.
Right?
Formal.
Have you ever been in an interview without taking your formals? Have you
No,
ever?
ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
No. Okay, no. And I'll tell you one thing. Yesterday only in my office, one boy came in the sleepers. ऊपर से he was looking very fine. And when I see downward and say sleepers, मैंने oh my god, they were that was not a sleepers, वो loafers नहीं हो रहे, they usually wear in the weddings. People used to wear with the coat and blazer. The loafers were there. So he wore that. And I feel so devastated on that time. Oh my god, he is coming for the interview. You know, हम लोग चाहे जितना मर्जी कह ले कि you are not judged by your appearance, but literally it's very important when you are going for the interview. You should, because people not gonna judge you about स्पीकिंग तो वो बाद में आएगा, रिज्यूमे उन्होंने बाद में देखना है. फर्स्ट दे विल सी यू अप एंड डाउन, राइट, व्हाइल एंटरिंग इनटू योर रूम. हम लोग देखते नहीं है पीपल गोना जज यू अबाउट योर फिजिकल अपीयरेंस ओनली. So it's very important, if you are going for the interview, you should wear your formals. Okay. So after that, and it's a really important for everyone कि आप लोग अगर if you are girl, tie your hairs properly, and if you are a male, try to shave it properly. अगर है भी नहीं तो trim कर लो, because you know it's very ऐसा लगता है. I see many of the people in the office, they come like पूरा अच्छे से beard बढ़ा रखा है, पूरा hairs and locks, they सोच रहे हैं कि सारा दुख दर्द इनके ही जीवन में है ऑफिस में. ठीक है. तो when you are giving for the interview, try to be neat and clean, पूरा proper होके जाओ आप. Okay. After that, we come to the body language part. Body language speaks a lot. अब आप देखते हो, many of you, if you get nervous, you try to like that, do your fingers, आप कर रहे हो, ठीक है. You are hesitating. किसी को sweat भी आता है घबराहट में. Somebody is like, कोई कोई लेट कर भी ऐसे बैठ जाता है सहारा लेके. But never do like that. Okay, घर में चल जाएगा. If you are giving the interview, try to calm your posture. Okay. थोड़ा स्ट्रेट बैठ के, डोंट बी लीन डाउन ऑन द चेयर एंड थिंक ओके अब आप इंटरव्यू दे सकते हो, अब मैं आराम से बैठ गया हूँ. डोंट यू डेयर टू डू लाइक दैट. दे गोना जज यू अबाउट योर पोजीशन आल्सो. ओके. सो काम योर पोजीशन, पोस्चर. ओके. आफ्टर दैट, क्लियर वॉइस एंड अ कॉन्फिडेंट स्माइल. ऐसा भी नहीं जाकर पूरा दांत ही दिखा रहे हो, अरे वाह मेरे को तो अपॉर्चुनिटी मिल गई, आई एम सो हैप्पी नाउ. ऐसा भी नहीं करना है. ओके. सो वेरी फर्स्ट थिंग अपार्ट फ्रॉम जोक, लेट्स come back to the session. Calm posture should be there. Your voice should be clear and properly. Okay. When you are speaking, try to be little loud, not very loud, but a little loud, that a voice should be clear. उनको ऑडिबल हो अच्छे से. ऐसा नहीं आप बहुत स्लो मुंह मुंह में ही बोले जा रहे हो, nobody HR सुन नहीं पा रहा है आपको. Okay. So it should be very calm posture, a clear voice and a confident smile. Okay. So, as I discussed, eye contact is very much important while you are talking to someone. Always do a eye contact. Many people say they don't do eye contact. वो इधर उधर देखने लग जाते हैं या नीचे head down कर लेते हैं ऐसे करके. So it's not a good sign of that. You are showing that you are discomfort, you are underconfident. It's very important while you are talking, try to make an eye contact. Okay. And always try to avoid those words like basically. तो ये सारे words है, try to avoid it. Okay. Please mute yourself. Okay. So in the last, interviews are always two ways. Many of you have seen, if HR usually ask you, okay, do you have any questions? Many people say no, right? किसने बोला है ऐसा? Raise your hands
Yes,
up.
ma'am.
Or yes, usually say, okay, Balram said no. Shrikant,
No,
have you
ma'am.
said that?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
sir.
No.
In my earlier days, I used to say no,
Okay.
but I definitely now I'll be have like 2 3 questions for them.
Yes, yes. Totally agree with you, Shikant. Usually in the old period now, हम लोग we said no, I don't have any questions. But never do
Yes,
that.
ma'am.
Okay? Never
Yeah.
ever do that. HR का main motive is to ask those questions is that they want to see how curious to you are to join in the company. Okay?
Yes,
If
ma'am.
they in the very last, if they ask you, okay, do you have any questions? You should have questions. Ask about the company. Okay,
Yes.
you can ask these kind of questions like, okay, what's the team structure, what kind of
Yes.
training or mentoring do we like hire receive, yeah, if I am joining you, what training should I get. Okay, you can ask like what are the next steps in the process. You can ask how does your organization support career growth. Okay,
Yes.
next time onwards, if you go for the interview and people generally ask, your HR asked you, do you have any questions? So you should ask one question. Okay, it show you
Okay.
that how lean you towards the job. So it's always important. After this session, you will remember me out कि नहीं भाई कशिश मैम ने मना करा है नो तो बोल के ही नहीं आना किसी भी चीज में. Okay, you should always
Yes.
ask. HR should feel कि हाँ वो क्यूरियस हो आप उनकी जॉब को लेके. ओके,
Yes.
सो मेनी ऑफ यू आई फील कि हम लोग वेट करते हैं कि HR आंसर करे, राइट? बट दिस इज नॉट अ एडिकेट. वी शुड ऑलवेज बी द फर्स्ट वन जहाँ पे हम लोग उनको थैंक यू मेल करें विद इन 24 hours. We will say that thank you so much for the opportunity and what's the feedback and what's the opportunity we have further and what are the steps we can follow. Okay, you should be the one who gonna ask it. If HR does not respond, does not mean that you should be back off and don't ये expect और wait करोगे 3 4 दिन तक कि जब तक HR reply नहीं करा. You should be the initiative person after giving the interview within 24 hours. Ask them कि okay ma'am, what's the update, what about the interview. Even if you are not, even you are not accepted ना, आप reject भी हुए हो, for an example you should learn from the feedback. Ask feedback about me, where did I lack upon so that I can work it upon that. So it's very important. From the very next time you will do is you should always ask the question to the HR, and after that post interview you will mail them or thank you them that giving this opportunity. Okay everyone.
Okay,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
So
Yes.
this is the basically these are the things you should always do while giving the interview. Okay, these are the very basic things, but you should be in on time. So real confidence comes from repetition. So what is it is very important when you repeat. You know, in the school time also we have repeat things and again ना वो हम चीजों को learn कर लेते हैं. So it's very important. So practice it loud, reflect your past interviews, improve your weak areas. प्रैक्टिस टेल मी अबाउट योर सेल्फ. जो क्वेश्चंस हम लोग प्रिपेयर करेंगे उनको प्रैक्टिस करो. You are not able to answer those questions right on that time, you will be if you practice those questions again and again. Okay everyone, so what are the key
Yes, ma'am.
takeaways? Know the company and the job inside out. Okay,
Job inside out. Yes, ma'am.
yeah, tailor your resume and stories when you will learn it. Practice key answers and body language while you're sitting. Ask thoughtful questions and follow up like a professional. Okay?
Yeah, yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So this is all about today's session is where we learn about the how should you face the interviews and what should be the answer of it and how you'll handle through star situation. Okay, everyone?
Yes.
Any doubts till now?
Yes.
Any feedback you want to share? Okay. So this is all about today's session, everyone. And onwards, if there's an assignment for you, I know many of you have not completed your PPT yet, but try to complete your PPT. Give me on today or by tomorrow so that I can check it and हम लोग Monday को इस पे feedback ले सके. Okay. So today's homework for you all. Prepare your 4 part of structure. Tell me about yourself properly. I'm gonna take your interview and I'm gonna give you feedback of it. कि what can you do works. Listen carefully. We are not here to make your आपको कोई guilt feel कराने के लिए. We are not here. We are all here to guide you up. Okay, हम लोग feedback लेंगे because I really want कि in the real time, real face of it, you will not miss those things. हम लोग यहीं पे we will practice and learn it, right? So in today's lesson, what we have learned today, practice yourself, and in the Monday practical session, we're gonna see this thing, see how you prepare. So take your note and copy, prepare your 4-part structure, how should you answer it, and do it. Okay, मेरे को मंडे को नहीं चाहिए मैम, दिस इज माय फर्स्ट क्लास मैम, आई हैव नॉट डन दैट, आई डोंट वांट बच्चे वाले एक्सपीरियंस. ओके, okay everyone, thank you so much for joining this session. Meet you on Monday.
Thank you,
Thank you
ma'am.
so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're most welcome, everyone.